Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back with another Motivation Monday, and today I have an extremely special guest. I'll just get right to the chase. When I was a lost young man at Aurora University in 2019, Coach Don Beebe was one of the first two people that introduced Jesus Christ to me and introduced the gospel to me when I had never read a single Bible verse growing up, to be honest with you, which is strange coming from a religious background. Probably more of my laziness, to be honest, to be frank. But Coach Beebe and Garrett Bova were the first two men that made it appealing. You can say what you want about Coach Beebe. He's got the NFL accolades. He's got the Super Bowl championship. But really none of that is what drew me to Coach Beebe. What drew me to Coach Beebe is his peace, his humility, his calmness under pressure. So we'll get into some of the NFL career, of course. But to me, when I look at Coach Beebe, I look at someone who I strive to be, having just gotten married, a husband, a father, a friend, a son. All of the above is how I feel about Coach Don Beebe. And I could say Don Beebe now, but it feels disrespectful. So I'm
Call me whatever.
I can't do that. So Coach Beebe, welcome to the Motivation Monday. I have some questions written down, but is there anything you want to start with?
That's just an honor to be on the show. And I know you asked a while ago, and I was like, man, I would love to be on your show. So I'm looking forward to the next hour or so speaking with you about faith, family, football,
Yep.
all the F's in life, right?
We'll hit all the good F's in life.
That's right.
We'll hit all the good F's. So I guess we could start with my first question.
Yeah.
Kind of delve into your childhood a little bit. But at what age did you know you wanted to play in the NFL?
Well, I knew it under 10. I was very young that I wanted to play sports for the rest of my life. I didn't really know that it was going to be football. I guess if you would have forced me at that age, I would have chose basketball. It wasn't until really my senior year in high school that I kind of fell in love with organized football, because football in the backyard's not organized, but it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with the kids and all the guys, we're just in the backyard. But probably my senior year, I fell in love with the sport of football. So, and it was really because of my high school coach, Coach Thorgensen, who was your running back coach at Aurora University here. Was Coach
Legend.
I say this all the time. Without Coach Thorgensen instilling the love of the game to me, I'm not so sure it would have turned out the way it did. I give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, the 1 year he was my coach, like, I call him silent car rides home. When he would talk, I would just, no radio, I would just ponder what he said. And it's like, oh man, like,
yeah, he's a good man.
Great man. So when you were a senior in high school, did you have any like scholarship offers to play football? What did that look like?
I had one. God narrowed it down to one, Western Illinois, so it made my decision very easily. I only had a half ride from Northern Illinois, and then one from Western Illinois, and that's why I chose there.
Yeah. And did you have did that like upset you? Because like, so I train a lot of athletes now, and my cousin who you were recruiting, he just left for Air Force.
Okay.
They took his phone, so I'm gonna write him a letter soon.
Yeah.
And he had 0 offers after his junior year, and I said, if you take this year and you train real hard and you stay patient, you trust in the Lord, because he has all the intangibles. He's a humble kid.
Yeah.
He's athletic too.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. And he's like, yeah, man. He had one partial like D2 offer, and his team, they made it downstate this year, and he got to play against the number 2 receiver in the country.
Sure.
Held him to like 2 catches in the game and had a really good game. And then after that, his last game, his senior year, state championship, he had 4 Division I offers after his last game, which is rare.
Yeah.
A lot of the recruiting, as you know, as juniors get heavily recruited. Now with the transfer portal, it's even crazier.
Right.
But when you went to Western, what was the mindset like? Of like, all right, they gave me a shot.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this with regards to scholarships and what we want in life, and we're talking football, but this could pertain to anything, is when you are doing something outside the will of God for your life, and it's what you really, really want, but it's not what God has in store for you, It's going to be a roller coaster ride. So if you put your identity in football, if you put your identity in anything other than the Lord, okay, it's going to be miserable. It's going to be a roller coaster ride. So, oh my gosh, I don't have 3 offers or 4 offers. Okay, so God limited it to 1. Oh, I don't have any offers. So God has this for you. I truly believe that if I was to ask you, Connor, what is your definition of success? You don't have to answer it. I'll answer it for you. For most people, first thing they think about, power, money, image, a nice wife, a nice girlfriend, whomever, right? I'm the top of the line at my job. They consider those things success. That's a worldly view. Okay, I learned very young, because I had a great dad that taught me what was most important in life. What was most important in life is Philippians 4:11. And people are like, well, 4:13 is a great verse. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? It's a great verse. But we, in the world of sports, take that verse so much out of context. It's crazy, meaning they pray that and they believe that they're going to be the guy in the game. Right. I mean, automatically they think that. Well, that might not be God's plan. God's plan may be you lose big time, and then what's the lesson that we learn from? So if you read Paul's version or point is, let's first realize, where did he write Philippians from? A jail cell in the middle of the island of Patmos. Okay, and he's writing about joy and peace and contentment. I mean, how can you get yourself there, right? You can't without Christ. You can't do it. You can't muster this up on your own. So what Paul meant by 4:13, I can do all things through Christ, was all in the verse right before that, 4:11 and 4:12, that he learned how to be content with wherever God had you. And at this point in time, he had him in a jail cell in Patmos, but he was content. The true meaning of success in the world is being content with where God has you. Ooh. Yeah. So when you can get there, it won't matter how many scholarships you have. And I know I got it off a little bit of a tangent there.
That's good.
But it was really, those things never really affected me from a spiritual standpoint.
Right.
From a worldly standpoint, when people say, I can't believe you only got 1. I didn't even care. I got 1.
I get to play more.
Yeah. So it was, and I really wanted to teach my 4 kids those very things. You know, what's most important in life?
I think that's a really good thing too, because what I pick up from that is, like, most people focus on the things they lack immediately. And they could have a bunch of great things, and a lot of people often do. And the immediate thing they focus on, oh, I have this job. Why don't I have that job?
Right.
Oh, I have this car. Why don't I have that car?
Oh, man.
And it's like, look around you.
Yeah.
Look at the blessings.
That's
and
right.
You know what? I'm hypocritical for saying that, because, like, it's taken me time. It still takes me time.
Connor, who hasn't? We all have.
Man, I complain so much sometimes. But I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at that.
Yep.
Because I'm learning from people such as yourself.
Yeah.
And a weird thing that's happened in doing these video interviews is learning from people and their, like, the mindsets of godly people. Like, wow, how can you, again, like my uncle, how could you be in the jail cell for 42 years and have joy still?
Yeah.
That doesn't make, and be innocent.
Yeah.
It doesn't, worldly innocent.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That doesn't make sense to me. So I want to go over your college football career a little bit, because you didn't stay at Eastern.
No, Western.
Western.
Yep.
You didn't stay at Western.
Yeah.
What did that look like?
Well, when I first went to Western in 1983, I wasn't ready for college. I was a very introverted kid. I was girl sick when I first went. That girl's now my wife of 38 years. So I left. I lost 21 pounds in a 2-week camp, and I just couldn't eat. I just wasn't ready. So I left, and I came back home, worked construction for 3 years, not even playing football at all, not even going to school. And then after 3 years, I felt the calling to go back. Now, what's that mean? That means in my quiet time in prayer and reading His Word, I felt this tugging on my heart to go back to football. I had no idea what to do and where to go and who to turn to, right? Well, automatically, I get a call back from Western Illinois in June of 1986, 3 years later. Now, let's put this in perspective, because there's a lot of crazy things that happen in my story that could only be from God, right?
Yeah.
I'm a college recruiter now. If I recruit a kid, he comes into my camp, he's here for 2 weeks, and then he leaves, I probably don't even know his name after 6 months.
Right.
So I'm not going to call him 3 years later. So you got to think to yourself, why did they call me 1 year later? I wasn't ready. God knew it. Why didn't they call me 2 years later? I wasn't ready. God knew it. But they called me 3 years later, completely out of the blue. hey, Don, would you like to come back to Western and play football? I'm like, okay, God, I hear you. I mean, that was just a calling that I just clearly knew that God opened that door. And so I stepped through it. Okay, so that is when you know, and the only way you can know the calling of God and what he really wants you to do is you have to get Psalms 46:10. You have to get still and know that he's God. Not you, not your dad, not anybody around you, okay? That he's God. And so the only way you can do that is just get very quiet, alone, no cell phones, no laptops, no people, just you and the Word of God, just you and on your knees. And you're just fervently praying. 1 Thessalonians 5:17 tells us to pray without ceasing. That means you're praying all day, every day throughout the deal. Did you know that I could be praying while I'm speaking with you? Did you know that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's called prayer without ceasing. That this conversation goes well and it goes directed towards God and not of ourselves. This ain't about me. This ain't about you. This is about our faith in Christ and the message and the talents that he's given us to share that, right, with other people. That's what you were designed for. That's what you were created for. So, you know, I left. I wasn't ready, but I was 3 years later, and that's all God's timing.
Did you stay, like, construction is a very labor-intensive job.
Yep.
Did you stay training like an athlete that whole time when you were working construction, or was it like, did the construction keep your, like, physical strength, or like what?
Yeah.
How did that look?
I still lifted weights at LeBeau's Health Club. I still played a lot of basketball, which is kind of going back to my true passion when I was a little boy. So I stayed in good shape. And plus, when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, it would take a lot for you to get out of shape. And back in my day, and there's athletes that do it today. I didn't have distractions. I didn't have laptops. I didn't twiddle my thumb to play an Xbox. I didn't have cell phones and social media and all this stuff. I mean, it was either you were working at your job or you're hanging out with the guys playing basketball or something in that nature. So I did a lot of activities that kept me in decent shape.
Okay. You brought up something before too that I think is so super important, and I've thought about this and contemplated it. I'll look at just a group of people, and I'll think to myself, God made these people with different gifts, different talents, different things, different callings, and I 100% come into agreement with the amount of distractions we have now. So a lot of people are like, I don't know what my purpose is. And I think you hit the nail right on the head. And this is speaking to me a lot, even in my life, of just being still and genuinely just asking when you're in the Word and in prayer. God, I want to be useful while I'm here on this planet. I want to do your will, and I want to do it to the best of my abilities. What does that look like? Am I a cook? Am I a musician? Am I a ball player? Am I a coach? Am I a trainer? Am I a cop? Am I a fireman? Like fill in the blank. So is that something that you would give to the young man or woman? Just what am I here to do?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I would say, what are you gifted at? God gives everybody gifts. Sadly, most people never use them for his glory, not yours. Okay, for his glory. Because there's a lot of people that are very gifted that are using it for their glory. I mean, there's a lot of people that fit in that category. So find out what you're gifted at. I knew very young that I was gifted not only physically as athletics, but mentally. It was my passion. I loved to do it. And so what is your passion? Passion is doing something that you love to do when nobody knows you're doing it.
Ooh.
Okay, that's passion. Meaning like an athlete. I used to go train and nobody knew. My dad didn't know, my peers didn't know, my coaches didn't know. I just went and trained because it was my passion. When people know and you have to make sure that you're putting it all over social media and everything like that, it's really kind of not a passion. You're trying to tell the world, hey, this is me. Is it? Is it really you? Okay, or are you just trying to make people think it's you? So I knew at young that those were my gifts. Now it became, do I use those gifts for his glory or mine? Okay, so once you figure out those gifts, then you start to pray on it that I would use those gifts to glorify him. For example, now this is at a very elite level, because I'm going to tell you a Super Bowl story. Okay, Super Bowl 27 was the Leon Lett when I ran down Leon Lett, right? Which is an iconic play and everybody knows about it. That wasn't my passion. I prayed a prayer before that game and I literally said, Lord, let this day be all about you. More than any other game in my entire life, Lord, let this game glorify you. Because I know the publicity that this game gets, and I know who's going to be watching it. So, Lord, use me. Use me to glorify you. I'll be honest with you, Connor, I got up. There was no doubt in my mind I was catching the winning touchdown to win this game for the Super Bowl, for the Buffalo Bills, being this now is our third one in a row, right? What a selfish thought. No, God gave me Leon Lett in a 52-17 blowout. Now, here's the metaphor. Here's the reason why I'm saying it. Is if I'm standing in front of a crowd, like I just did a thing for a men's breakfast in Houston last Saturday, and I'm standing in front of this crowd, how many in that audience can relate to making a one-handed stab touchdown to win a Super Bowl? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody in that audience, okay? How many can relate to never giving up? Everybody. And see, the big picture is heaven. The big picture is eternity. It's not the 60 to 80 years that we might be here. It's forever. Where are you going to spend forever? And so as I stand on stages now and I use the play, and if I can help somebody because God gave me this play to get through a tough time, to never giving up and let God work your life and work in your life, oh man, how rewarding is that? It's like using this show.
Yeah.
You're not doing this show for you. You're doing the show to impact people. And you even said it in your prayer. If it's just one, it's worth it. And that's the way I look at life now when I'm making decisions. Yeah, my selfish ambitions are going to creep in the way. That's okay, as long as it doesn't come before God's will.
Amen. Could we go back to your college career
Yeah.
and like going into like the NFL draft? Because that's a crazy story in and of itself too.
Yeah.
Because you finished your college career at Shadron, right?
Shadron, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like, I think, one other person or two other people out of Shadron that played in the NFL. Danny Woodhead is one of them.
Yep.
Right?
The first one was named Dub Miller in 1935, and then I was the second one in 1988.
And then Danny Woodhead. Has there been anybody since? Do you
Garrett
know?
Gilkey.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Talk about, people probably might not even know
Yeah.
where Shadron State's at.
Yeah.
I knew it because when I played my first season in arena
That's
football,
right.
I was with Magic,
Rabbit
Coach
City.
Magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that area was beautiful too. I
Yeah.
fell in love with the nature out there and the rolling hills and whatnot. But
Yeah.
can you talk about going from Shadron State and what that process looked like from Shadron to the NFL and like?
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a long story, but I'll kind of give you the Reader's Digest view of it.
Sure.
Yeah, when I was out of eligibility in the Division I from Western Illinois, because I only played 1 year there, and I didn't know my time clock was being used up when I first went there in 1983. So when I went back in 86, found out I was ineligible for that year, lack of transfer credit hours from, believe it or not, AU, okay, because I played basketball here 1 year, and then dropped out completely. But I was credit hours short. So then I had to come back to Waubonsee Junior College, get the credits, transfer back now with only 1 year of eligibility to play, and the passion and dream to play in the NFL. How naive, right? So I played that 1 year, and then one scout. My NFL career started before I ever played one down of college football. Okay, now here's another crazy part of this story. I just happened to walk into the gym. They were doing a pro day, which they do at every Division I college in the nation. And what's a pro day? NFL scouts go into there. They time guys in the 40, give them the Wonderlic test, and put it through other tests to find out if there's any interest in that player. I wasn't even invited. Okay, never played it down. Just went through spring drills. NFL scouts are at Western Illinois. I was in jeans, shorts, tank top, and sandals. I just came out of math class. Just happened to walk into the gym. That's God, by the way. And I saw what was going on. Walk up to Coach. I said, "Hey, Coach, what's going on?" He goes, "Well, it's pro day." And I said, "Man, I'd like to run. I'm going to be a senior." "Don, you're not any film. Don't worry about it." Long story short, I landed up getting to run. The Dallas scout let me run. Kicked off my shoes, ran barefoot, no warm-up, jean shorts, and ran a 4.32. First time I ever ran a 40. I never knew what I could run. This is back in the 80s now. Nobody was timing guys in a 40. So that's where my pro career started. So I played the 1 year at Western Illinois, was out of eligibility. Some scouts said, "We like the way you can run." And the reason I landed up at Shadron, getting to your question, was the head coach at Shadron was the one that recruited me when he was at Western 5 years previous.
Wow.
Yeah, so I didn't even know what Nebraska was. I was 22 years old. I had no idea. Nebraska, yeah, it's out west. 15 hours from home, right? 8 hours from Omaha. So it's on the other side of Nebraska, not alone this side of Nebraska. So I landed up there because I knew the coach, Coach Smith. And who would have thought, I mean, really, who would have thought the mecca of the NFL to get drafted would be Shadron? I mean, think about that. I mean, that's just only God could do that.
Right.
Because I was going to go, believe this or not, and I know you're not going to like this, but it's true. I almost went to BU. Can you imagine that story? Yeah, BU. Well, let's just put it this way. I'm glad I didn't go to BU because that's where the world wanted me to go because everything was perfect. And I was 20 minutes from home. I was engaged to be married. And God said, no, you're going to go to Shadron. Without spending time, quiet time, and listening to the Holy Spirit and what He wanted me to do, I would have went to BU because it was so perfect.
Right.
But I went to Shadron on a complete whim and a prayer. Go out there, lo and behold, play 1 year. A combine scout came through. Bill Giles was his name. He did me in a workout. He'd been doing it for 31 years, and he looked at me in the face across the table and said, "This is the greatest workout I've ever put a guy through." Can you imagine the guys he's seen in 31 years, and he's telling me that? To his dying day, he never told me what I ran, but he got me into the combine. Now, to put this in perspective, how does a guy like me, only 1 year playing at NAI Division II then, and 1 year at Western Illinois, FCS, not even FBS, okay, is going to get into the combine? Danny Woodhead, and you mentioned his name. Danny Woodhead played, I think, 11 years or 10 years in the National Football League, was the back-to-back Outland Trophy winner in college football. That's not just NCAA Division II, that's all NCAAs. Beats Barry Sanders' all-time rushing record, and he didn't get invited to the combine. Now, how's a guy like me going to get invited? That can only be Jesus Christ. That's it. So I go, and I set the record. I ran a 4.25 or something like that, 4.25 in the 40-yard dash in a flopping fishing shoe from high school.
Is there film of that?
I couldn't have filmed. No, they didn't. There was no media that was allowed in the Dome back in the 80s and early 90s. It's not like now you see today. Yeah, it's just
it's a show.
Yeah, and the only reason I found that out was the guy that ran the event told me this in 2003. I never knew I broke the record until 2003. And what they printed on ESPN, if you look it up on ESPN, they put 4.39. They didn't even know because the media wasn't even allowed in the Dome. Yeah, so the official record was 4.25. And Deion Sanders, the same year, 1989, ran a 4.25. So we held that for 19 years. I don't say that to brag. I say that because God knew that had to happen. Because 4.25 changed my life. You go into Shadron, I come out of Shadron on a 4.4, add just another guy. You break the all-time record? It's like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so I had 21 personal workouts over the next month and a half before the draft. And then I was the Bills' first pick in the 1989 draft in the third round. So if that's not Christ, I don't know what it is. That's God's plan, and all I did was follow it.
Did you have a personal workout with the Bills?
Yeah, their wideout coach, their scout came first. He timed me, and then and this is so funny, their wideout coach, Nick Nicolau, a short Portuguese guy, loved him to death. He came out, and he timed me in the first time at 4.28, and he said, "There's no way this is 40 yards." He says, and he'd been doing it a long time too, and he says, "There's just no way. I've never timed anybody at 4.2. So he made Coach Smith get out the measuring tape, measure the whole thing to the beak, 120 feet. And he said, "Can you run it again?" I said, "Sure." I ran it again, 4.31. So anyway, they did give me 2 workouts.
So would you say sprinting was one of your God-given gifts?
Oh,
like
yeah,
just the art of like running?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah, I mean, that was a gift.
Obviously, with your work ethic, you sharpened it and you worked hard at it to get better. Yeah. But like, I think that, if the average person hears this, like, oh yeah, 40-yard, like 4.2 is blazing speed. Yeah. Even 4.4 and 4.5 is like very fast. 4.6 is pretty fast.
Yeah, very fast. Yeah.
But you get to the 4.3 and 4.2 range, that person looks like they're shot out of a cannon. I've seen, when I was at a workout, I saw this Jamaican guy. He was a D2 receiver, good dude. You start talking to people at these pro workouts. I liked them a lot. Yep. And he ran, I think, like a 4 flat or 4.3, high 4.3, and it looked like he was like flying. Yeah. It didn't even look like running.
Yeah, the Sporting News did an article in 1999 or 2000, right at the turn of the century. And at that point in time, there had only been 10 guys in the history of the NFL that ran a 4.2. And what I mean by that, it was an official NFL scout that timed it, because we hear a lot of inflated times, but at that time, there's only 10. Yeah. So I don't know what there is now. I mean, we're 26 years later, but
train athletes all the time.
It's rare.
I've gotten pretty good at timing them.
Yeah.
Oh, I run a 4.6. I'm like, no, you don't.
You don't. It's usually about 2/10 slower.
I was like someone time me off their phone. I'm like, yeah, their phone.
Right.
Okay. I was like,
Downhill, downwind. Right.
I was like, so that. What did your first? Because I gotta imagine, like, what was your first day at the Bills facility like after going through all this stuff leading up to that?
Yeah.
And like, now I'm here.
Yeah.
I was doing construction a few years ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm here.
Yeah. Yes. For example, like when I went to the combine in my first day with Buffalo. Well, first of all, let's talk about the combine first. When I went to the combine, there's Deion Sanders, Troy Aikman, Barry Sanders, all these guys at the combine. I was so naive, I didn't even know what to expect. So I had no expectations. So I wasn't nervous. I was just kind of like, I wasn't cocky because I certainly didn't fit in. Okay. I just didn't know any better. I mean, I'm there with the floppy fishing shoe from high school for crying out loud. Okay. I had no agent, didn't even know what an agent was. Yeah. My roommate laughed at me. Okay. You don't have an agent? And I was like, I didn't know what one was, really. So, and then my first day in Buffalo, and then I get drafted, and everybody's like, well, what was your draft day like? You know, were you worried about where you were going to go? And I said, no, not really. I mean, it's not that I didn't care. I just knew God was in control. When you get to the point in life that you know God's in control, what are you worried about? I mean, really, what are you worried about? I mean, I see all these guys, they sit on draft day and they're just like, they're so mad they didn't go in the first round. And I can't believe it. I'm like, yeah, they're in it for themselves. Really.
Well, it seems like the media like focuses on those guys. The camera comes back to them. He's not taken yet.
Right.
And the guy's sitting there like.
They love that stuff. I wasn't nervous at all. Then when I went to Buffalo, I don't know if I was nervous until my first drill in a uniform was at, I'll never forget this. It was May of 1989, a 3-day mini camp. So they flew all the players in, and when you're the top pick, there's like more pressure on you. So I felt, because of the media and people, the expectations were putting on me, and so I was just like, okay. And who do I face in the first one-on-one drill? Nate Odoms. Nate Odoms was top 5 in the league at that time, all-pro. He just came up from an all-pro season, and he was about 6 foot, 5'11", 190, 200-pound guy, 4'3", 840, and mean as a snake. I mean, he was just, didn't smile a lot. And I played 6 years with Nate, so he's great. But, but he wasn't great that first camp. He was just mean, right? I was just like... And I'll never forget it. The turf at Buffalo slid in one direction, so it was kind of a cheap field, but believe it or not. And I was trying to get off the jam on him, and I'd never been jammed before. It's the first time I've ever been jammed. So I was already nervous about that. I slipped on the turf, and he shoved me in my back as I was trying to get up and run the route. And he was just, you're going to be down there all year anyway, rookie. Just stay down there. Man, I was whooped mentally. I mean, I was like, oh, my gosh, what just happened? I was embarrassed. Okay, it's the first time I kind of felt these feelings, and I struggled. I struggled with it all year. It was so bad, Connor, and I hate to admit this, but it's the truth, that you would see yourself in the wideout line, and you could see where Nate was in the DB line. I would like fake tie my shoe or something like this.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, no, you go ahead. There's Nate. Okay. I mean, it was just embarrassing, but I was just like, I had to do something about that.
Yeah.
Okay, and so... from a physical standpoint and mental, is I hired a martial art guy. And that off season, I got really good with my hands and my mind. And he was a Christian guy too, which was great because he would always say to me, he said, and this actually came from a movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but he said to me, when you face your greatest fear, let the Creator guide you.
Ooh!
And it was just, that's
good.
Yeah, and he was my greatest fear. So I trained with him 3 times a week. Gary Costanza was his name, God rest his soul. But he taught me not only how to be really explosive with my hands, but he taught me how to be mentally tough when you face your greatest fear. And I couldn't wait for the next camp. So the next camp came around, and Kirby Jackson, the other starting defensive back, came out to guard me. And I said, no, Kirby. I said, come on, Nate, let's go. I called Nate out, right? In a
competitive, nice, friendly way.
Yeah,
your teammates.
And the other thing is, I looked at Jim Kelly and I went like this. So usually you hide your signals of what you're going to run.
Yeah.
I was telling Nate, I'm going deep and you can't stop me without even saying a word. And so I beat him. And it was just a different person, you know. So it was just things that you learn that when you play or do whatever you're going to do, let the Creator guide you for one, from a spiritual standpoint. But more importantly, you got to believe that you can. Because if you don't, and goes back to our first meeting that we met, actually, if we don't believe that we can win the national title, it's never going to happen here, ever. You have to believe it. And then you go train harder than anybody else. If you can accomplish those two things, you're gonna achieve a lot in life.
Yeah, that's talk about embarrassing moments. That was an embarrassing moment for me. My answer to that question, by the way.
I remember it.
Like, why'd I say that?
Yeah.
It's like I'm the first guy, you know. I was the team captain.
You were the very first guy.
And
yeah.
I'm really intrigued and happy that you admitted that because the average person will look at an NFL guy and put them on a pedestal.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, this guy's afraid of nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, no, your rookie year, like,
scared to
that
death.
guy got the best of you.
Yeah.
Because, like, in my, like, football career, there was many times I'm like, am I the only one that feels like this? Like, I feel soft right now. I feel afraid. There was one thing you said to me my senior year, actually. I'll never forget. And I was like, oh. But I look back at it, I was like, this was necessary. And I sprained my ankle. I was walking around in a boot. I think it was like a walkthrough. You came up to me, and I don't remember verbatim what you said.
Yeah.
But you said, like, you looked at me and you're like, you want to play at all your senior year? Or something like that.
Yeah.
Nicely, of course.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, what do you mean? And you told me, like, you know, having that boot on, you're going to get stiff. I was like, I was in a lot of pain. My ankle was jacked up.
Right.
I'm surprised it didn't break. But I was like, I took the boot off and I gave it a go that week. It was BU week.
Yeah.
All week in practice.
Yeah.
I was in so much pain. I was like, man, this could give out at any moment. And it gave out, but I'm so happy that I attempted to do that.
That's right.
And you gave me the opportunity to do that because it was something that I didn't want to hear, but I needed to hear.
Yeah.
I was like, this is my senior year.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out like this in a boot.
Right.
And to be honest, best advice I've ever received, because that ankle healed up quicker than it would have.
It would have.
When it healed up, it wasn't stiff.
That's true.
Like people coming out of boots.
Yeah.
And it was an ankle sprain. I wasn't going to break anything.
Yeah.
It was just painful.
Yeah.
But
it was taught to me at a young age too. Your mind can do way more than your body can. Your body says, I can't. I'm hurt. It's swollen. Your mind just says, no, you're fine. And it's really came from my college coach, who was a military, Marine drill sergeant, and then he was a coach at Western. He taught us how to be not just physically tough, but just mentally tough. When things are rough in life, and that's what I love about football. Football is absolutely a metaphor to life, more than any other sport. Nothing against any other sport,
right?
But it's tough, just like life. And if you can't handle it, and you're going to wimp out and keep your boot on your ankle in life, you're gonna struggle.
I was so mad.
You're gonna struggle.
Yeah. I was like, I went home. I was like, can't believe he said that. I'm like, but then I'm like, he's right.
Yeah.
He's so right.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm a senior captain.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
I had a big. I was probably crying that night. I'll be honest. But it was great. Because I would rather go. I lasted like 2 series that game, but I'd rather go out on a shield.
Sure.
And
absolutely.
Than what I would have done and just gone out with a whimper. Like, I had to give it a shot, but I wouldn't have if you didn't say that.
Yeah.
And I think that one of my pet peeves sometimes in training athletes is trying to get them like across, and they're like, "Oh man," I was like, "Guys, listen, I've avoided certain drills at people. Like when I remember in Pee Wee football, they wouldn't even play me on defense my first 3 years. That's how soft I was. I ran away from contact.
Yeah, right.
I didn't learn how to be a running back until I got to my high school where we ran the veer option. I was dive, so I had to.
Right.
So like this stuff, like people think it's just ingrained and that, at a young age, like, no, like the NFL guys go through this stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody's above that fear, but it's in facing that fear and trusting in the Lord that he's bigger than your fears.
Sure.
I think of David and Goliath.
Yeah.
Like the whole army of Israel was right there, and David, here's a shepherd boy but what he did in private with the lion and the bear that no one saw but God, and the sheep that he saved.
That's right.
That was that like preparation. So I think that, because the Warriors, they're like, I'm not facing him.
Yeah.
David was like, oh, he's cursing the God.
Right.
let's go.
That's right.
Like,
That's
so
right.
I think of situations like that where it could renew your faith to have you face these fears, because on the other side, I think there's so much depth and so much you learn from actually doing that.
Yeah.
Did I come back and have a great game against BU and get to play in the playoffs against St. John's? No.
Yeah.
But that's something I would have regretted for the rest of my life if I didn't at least give it everything
That's
I
right,
have. And
right.
my body had to give out.
That's right.
You were 100% right. My body had to give out, not my
Yeah.
mind. My body
Right.
had to say, you can't run on this.
That's
Like,
right. There's hurt and then there's injured.
yeah.
Yeah. Injured, you're out. Can't play. But broken leg, whatever. I mean, you can't walk. Hamstring. Because a hamstring's a funny thing, because a hamstring doesn't look like you have any injuries. Yeah.
I hate it.
But you can't run.
So weird.
Yeah,
Because, like, and I don't bruise easily.
Yeah.
I've torn both of my hamstrings
Yeah.
4 or 5 times. Lost count. Can't even remember. And, like, I look and I'm like, it doesn't look like that bad. There's, like, indents in it, so you can tell.
Yep.
But I'm like, I feel so soft right now, but I can't run.
I know. I had a hamstring too, and it just drove me crazy.
I was like, a broken leg's easier to explain. My leg snapped in half.
What it is,
You broke your leg your rookie year, correct?
Yeah, I did.
That's
My
easy
second year, yep.
Second year?
Yeah.
Talk about that. What was, how, because that's adversity of adversities. Second year in the NFL.
Yeah.
A lot of people say NFL stands for not for long. What was your thought process when that happened?
Well, again, like everything in life, when tragedy happens, we got to ask ourselves, okay, what is there to learn through this? What's going on? Because I know God's in control. Romans 8:28, all things work for the good that those who love Him, right? Well, then why do bad things happen to good people? Think about it. Well, what's good? Who's good? What's the standard? Right? Well, Christ is the standard, then you're not good. If that other person over there, well, you might be better than him, but that's not the standard, right? So, and the other thing I think we need to learn is who's doing the bad things, God or Satan? Well, Satan does. God allows it, sure, but God's not doing it. Okay, God allows it, knowing full well that there's a lesson to be learned, and you're going to be better off on the backside of it if you allow God to work on it. So, going back to your story, I broke my leg. I knew I was out. Okay, my season was certainly over, December 23rd, 1990. Remember it like it was yesterday. So I was going to be out for the playoffs. We were already in the playoffs. And potentially first Super Bowl in Buffalo history was going to happen, which it landed up being that. Okay, the first Super Bowl in Buffalo history. And I'm on crutches. So your first response is, I can't believe this. Why is this happening? Then you think, man, is my career over? It just started. Now my career's over? Because the media is saying, will Beebe ever come back and all these things. Then you look back, as I look back now, okay, and I broke my leg on the 23rd. I went home. I said I wanted to be with my family. There's 21 family members in for the game. And I tried to last overnight with it, but the pain was so bad that they took me in on Christmas morning, and I had surgery on Christmas. And as soon as I was done in surgery, the next morning, the nurse walks into my office and says, there's this little girl named Melissa Stanton, 11-year-old girl, just finished her 12th spinal cancer. She's a big Don Beebe fan, and she wants to meet you. Well, what do you think my first reaction is, right? I just had surgery. I mean, to meet a Buffalo Bills fan right now is probably not at the top of my priority list. I didn't say anything. Okay, that was my human thoughts going through my mind, but I said, yeah, but let her come in, because that's what a Christian does, right? That's what a man of God does. Yeah, let her in, because it's not about me. Well, entered this girl, Melissa Stanton, into my life, and she changed the way I looked at life, a lot of things. What's most important? A football game? My broken leg? Or her life? Or somebody else's life? For eternity. Again, big picture, eternity. That's what I've learned over my life, is what is the big picture. So we started engaging in conversation, and we became buddies. She became a really good friend of mine. She lived until she was 45 years old. She just died 2024 at the age of 45, and she wasn't supposed to live past that day. Okay, and she had a deadbeat dad, and she asked me. She was engaged to be married when she passed away, and she asked me to walk her down the aisle, and she was in a wheelchair her whole life. I took her to games, took her to a Super Bowl, and we became buds. Matter of fact, she was such a good friend of mine because she inspired me so much, and she would say the same thing that I did to her, but I don't look at it that way, is we just finished the movie Run for Glory on my life story, and I wanted to pay a tribute to her. And we did a big tribute to her. She's in the whole movie. She enters, the first scene of the movie is she enters into the hospital room, okay? And I'm on the bed, and we start to banter back and forth and talk and everything like this, and she says, "So how did you get here? How did you play football?" And then we go back to the day I gave my heart to Christ in Souls Harbor Church in Aurora at 7. And I knew then I wanted to play sports. I didn't know it was football. I wanted to play sports, and I wanted to play for Jesus. And so we went back in time. So the movie is going back in time and then coming back to the hospital room, me and her conversing the whole movie. And so it was really cool to see that her mom, she's in heaven. There's no doubt she loved Jesus. Her mom we're working on, and I think she's close to accepting Christ, and because losing her only daughter would devastated her. So there's a lot of things that we have to, it's kind of like you're in traffic and somebody pulls in front of you and ticks you off, and you're like, now I just missed the green light, and I got to wait for another red light. Well, guess what? You might have entered that intersection and got smoked by a truck. How do you know that? How do you know that? God does. You don't, right? So I've learned even in driving that when things aren't going my way and I want to get upset, I'm like, oh man, you know what? Maybe I'm supposed to be late, which I'm never late. You know that about me,
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Because it drives me crazy.
Right.
So there's things that I've learned to look at through the lens of Christ instead of my lens.
That's
a long answer, sorry.
No, that's an incredible story. I can't wait. I mean, it was such an honor. Can you talk about, because this was one of the coolest things ever. I mean, you're such a family-oriented guy, which inspires me because I love that. Yeah. I was actually just, the same thing, I was over helping Coach Hohensy's camp the other week. Yeah. Same thing. Had his wife there, daughter, son. And I was like, this is awesome. He asked me to be a part of that camp. Yeah. And it was amazing. Yeah. Great camp over at Aurora Christian.
Yep.
And your son is playing you in the biopic.
Yeah.
He has as far as I know, no acting experience.
Right.
But I was like, that just makes so much sense. Can you talk about how being on set and witnessing your own son play your life story felt?
Yeah. So I'm first of all, let me just say this. I'm not a movie guy or a book guy. I'm a private guy. I like my privacy. Go to dinner with my wife and everything of that nature. And God said, no, we're gonna have a book. You're gonna play in the NFL, and now there's gonna be a movie on your life story. Initially, I didn't really want to do it, but I felt God called this to happen. And we met these wonderful people, Salt the Earth Pictures, 10 years ago. And I was already tied up with somebody else to do the movie, and I agreed to do this. But I agreed to do it as long as I would have final say on the content, meaning that it was true and that it was going to glorify God and not Hollywoodize this film. Because I didn't want that. I didn't want to, no offense to Rudy, because I love Rudy and he's a great guy. I didn't want a movie like Rudy. I didn't want a movie like Vince Papaya in Invincible, when Mark Wahlberg did things that really weren't true. And how do I know that? Because I know Vince and I know Rudy. I talked to him, and I didn't want that, So they gave me the final say on it, and then one day after casting, we got everything. We were going through the middle of casting. The director asked me, he said, "What do you think about Chad playing you?" And my first response was, he's not an actor. I mean, how he's not going to act that. No, we'll work with that. But he can do everything that you did. He lived your life in football. Yeah. He looks like you. His body type is you. His personality is you. He'd be perfect for the role. We'll teach him how to act. So he had to take some acting classes and stuff. But I said, well, let me ask him. I said, I called him that night. I said, Bubba. I call him Bubba. I said, Bubba, you want to play your dad in the movie? He goes, are you serious? I was like, well, they just asked me. I mean, he goes, can I pray about it? And I said, absolutely. I want you to pray about it. I mean, I want this to be the Lord. And he called me back a couple of days later. He said, man, Dad, I've been praying about this. He goes, it'd be an honor to play my dad. Ooh. And I was like, cool. So we cast him to play me, which was great. But then we came into an issue. A few weeks later, I'm talking with the director, and I'm thinking to myself, and the scenes that they're talking about, I said, I'm going to tell you right now, Chad won't be able to do those. He's not going to kiss another girl, an actor. He's not going to hug or be intimate, let's say, in conversation, other than his wife. And they said, well, do you think his wife would play Diana, right? And sure enough, next thing you know, Mackenzie, Chad's wife, is playing Diana. And I think it's the first time in movie history that the son played the father and the son's wife played the mother. I don't think that's ever been done before. There's been the son that's played the father before a few times, but I don't think that's ever happened. So it's pretty cool to sit on the set to see your daughter-in-law and your son playing scenes that happened 35 years ago, 40 years ago, and they were doing an amazing job. I mean, it was just incredible to watch those two, and they really took it serious, and they did their homework. And Kinsey's such a perfectionist, and she's so talented. And she had this whole book of all the scenes and color-coded everything, and they knocked it out of the park. They were great, and it was an honor to have them do it.
Well, I'm fish toss guy number one in that movie, by the way, son. You got a new skill.
Yeah.
We got about 2 minutes left.
Sure.
Is there any
more minutes? Yeah.
Is there any way you would want to wrap this up?
Yeah.
This conversation up?
No, I listen, no matter what I do for the rest of my life, I want it to be centered on Christ. I want it to be centered on helping people. And if they come to faith, which that's always my prayer, I don't want to blow in the wind and waste the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. I'm 61. How many years left do I have? I don't know. Not many. It goes fast. It's going to go fast. Shoot, the last 60 have gone really fast. The last 20, I've been here 8 now. Then it has gone really fast. And life doesn't slow down. Okay, I don't want to stand in front of God and say, you know what, I put this guy in front of you, I put that guy in front of you, and you never told him about me. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. Mm. And that is always the focus on my mind. And you know me, I'm competitive. I love to win. Who doesn't? That's okay. That's a gift, by the way. As long as it's geared in the right direction. I mean, you can't tell me that Paul wasn't competitive. Yeah, run the race to win, he said, right? But all for the right reasons.
Right.
And that's who I want to be. I want to be like Paul. I want to be like David, just a man of character, a man after God's own heart, but yet my whole mission is centered on Christ and Christ alone, not me.
Last thing, what's one question, because you've been on some podcasts before.
Oh, yeah.
What's one question you haven't been asked yet that you wish you would have been asked so far?
Well, I do know this. It would be centered in this area. You know, because what I've done and accomplished as a person and a player, I don't even care. I don't even care. I have 6 rings. You know, you get a ring, win or lose, right? I have 6 rings. You know what? They sit in a box and they collect dust in the basement.
I remember when I went over to your house senior year, you took them out of like
a box.
What I used to bring my lunches into school.
Sure.
With, you know.
Yeah, I don't even. I probably even know where they are right now. I eventually would find them, but those aren't important things. The things that collect dust aren't important. Okay, things that beat and have a spirit within them, that matters, and that's what I'm going to answer for. So, I'm on podcasts, a lot, and if that doesn't come up, which, to be honest with you, if they don't bring it up, I do. I mean, like ESPN radio, it's all secular and it's all wants to talk about the Bills and the sports. Even then, I'll get something in, and they all know it. I mean, everybody that I talk to, hopefully they know it. That's a compliment, really. I want them to know that I'm a man of faith, and I'm not shy about it. I'm bashful about it, but I'm not an idiot about it either. I'm not going to shove it down somebody's throat, because then it becomes about my timing, and it's not my timing. It's God's timing. Mm-hmm. God needs to work on you before I could ever say something to you, okay? And that God is just put me in your life to say those things because you needed to hear it and you were ready to hear it, right? That's called God's timing, God's perfect timing. Yeah, that's not me. So I don't push it on anybody. Yeah, so, other than that, I like speaking about faith in my family, because I have a great family.
Yes, you do. I love your family.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're awesome. I want to have them on here too.
Yeah.
I'd love to do an episode with each and every one of them.
They would love it.
Because their stories are incredible too,
yeah.
Such as yours. Well, the last thing, would you mind closing us in prayer, and just anyone who would listen to this, pray over them? And
I'd be honored to. Yeah. Sure. Father, we come to you in prayer, Lord. We just thank you for this last hour together, and I just appreciate Connor's heart and his willingness to just do these podcasts and these episodes that would all be centered on you. And the whole focus is about, like he said, just one person. If it just reaches one person, and don't ever allow us, Lord, to lose that focus. Whatever we do for the rest of our lives here on earth, let it be focused on you and your plan and your will for our lives. And anybody that's listening, that they would do that as well. This life it goes very fast, and we weren't created to have it for ourselves. We're created for something way bigger than us, and that's you, Lord. So we just thank you again for Connor's heart and his willingness to do these things, and it was a privilege to be on it. So thank you for this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.